sa mga national dailies. Hindi lang dito, pati sa ibang bansa. Celebrated case talaga po ito, mga kababayan, nang nangyari kay Digong. Ngayon, ang problema, mga kababayan, tiningnan natin yung mga kwento ngayon. Ako tingin ko po, lalong nadiin po si Digong mismo yung pinahamak. Bakit po? Ang dating po, ang inaakusa mismo ni Atty. Medialdea, yung ICC ng kidnapping, yung ICC mismo na humahawak ng trial sa kliyente mo. Ako sa ito sabi ni Medialdea, ni-reject po yung mga plea. Yan o, sabi dyan, given the precipitous arrival of my client in an elderly man with debilitating medical issues, hard of hearing and poor sight, he was taken to a hospital for
nagbabagang mga balita at pagtalakay sa mga isyu ng lipunan. Bulsa, opinyon, banat at paglalantad sa katotohanan. Bulsa, what you see is what you get. You decide.
Good time muna tayo po kasi matindi yung mga kaganapan para bawasan yung stress. O padala po ito ni Ramil numero 1 Ligaya, OFW sa dyan sa United Kingdom, UK. Ang titulo nito, kasabwat ang pangyayari na ganap sa Davao. May isang may isang lalaki po na nahuldap habang naglalakad po sa kabaan ng Davao Boulevard. Di ba niya, Mr. Maravillas? Crime free sa Davao. Iwan ko man dito sa nagpadala nito. Pinili pa yung Davao. Wala akong magagawa. Yan ang gusto niyang setting. Ngayon, after ng insidente, siyempre takbo siya sa PNP station. Nag-report siya. At nagkataon naman, nandun yung station commander. Nakausap niya mismo. Sabi ng lalaki, Chief, naulda po ako. Magkano niya yung natangay sa'yo? Tanong ng hepe. 50,000 po, sir? Sabi ng biktima. Sabi ng chief of police, oh, ganon. Hindi ako naniniwala sa'yo. Nagtaka yung biktima. Bakit naman po, chief? Hindi ka maniwala sa sinabi ko? Sabi ng chief of police, 20,000 lang anya yung binigay sa akin. Yung nag-utos pala yung... Joke man lang po ito Hindi ito akin. Baka magalit yung... magalit yung chief of police dyan sa Davao. Kwento man lang po ito. Noong panahon nito, hindi ngayon po, noon pang long time ago, hindi pa mayor si Digong dyan. Hindi pa naging mayor. Long time ago, halos hindi na po maalala kung sino yung mayor at chief of police. Matik na po, joke man lang. Si Digong nga po, mahilig sa joke. Kahit nga po yung kahit yung gustong ipabomba yung mga senador, patayin na lang anya natin yung 15 mga senador para mabakante. Joke man lang. Pero kinasuhan niya, kinasuhan ni Astig General Torre. Hindi na niya pwedeng ganon. Hindi pwede ka niya, Mr. Maravillas, makasuhan yan. Hindi man po, nagbasa lang naman ako ng joke. Padala ng taga-UK. Anyway, hugas kamay ka niya, Poncio Pilato ka, Mr. Maravillas. Yeah, totoo naman. Padala lang sa akin. Matik na po, 200. Kasali ka na rin sa monthly draw. 5,000 ang cash price. Yung mga hindi mabubunot, qualified sa grand draw. Sa December po, 10,000 yung grand price. Dito na, pasok na natin dito sa lalagyan. Balik na tayo dito sa ating seryosong kwento. Alam na siguro ninyo kasi most of you nanood. Ako lang yung hindi siguro kasi nantok na ako kakaintay kagabi sa live streaming ng International Criminal Court, ICC. Ngayon na lang po ako nanood at binasa natin yung mga kwento sa mga national dailies. Hindi lang dito, pati sa ibang bansa. Celebrated case talaga po ito, mga kababayan, nang nangyari kay Digong. Ngayon, ang problema, mga kababayan, tiningnan natin yung mga kwento ngayon. Ako tingin ko po, lalong nadiin po si Digong Bakit naman niya Mr. Maravillas? Hindi ko maintindihan kung si Executive Secretary, former Executive Secretary, Salvador Mijaldea po, pinag-aralang mabuti yung kanyang mga utterances, mga defense, yung kanyang mga sasabihin. Kasi ito tingin lang po natin, iwan ko po sa inyo, pero tingin ko, pinahamak lalo ni Mijaldea si Digong. Bakit po? Direktang inakusa po ni Mijaldea yung ICC na kinidnap si Digong. Although ang minimin niya yung gobyerno, yung ating yung pamahalaan ng Pilipinas, kasi sa galit nila kay PBBM, hinayaan na pumasok yung ICC through Interpol. Sabi nga po, paliwanag ng ating Pangulo, we are obligated. O ngayon, sa galit nila sa ating Pangulong Bongbong, na sa tingin nila pinopolitika si Digong, pinahamak nila yung kanilang kliyente. Si Digong mismo yung pinahamak. Bakit po? Ang dating po, ang inaakusa mismo ni Atty. Mijaldea, yung ICC ng kidnapping, yung ICC mismo na humahawak ng trial sa kliyente mo, akusa mong pinakidnap. O di ba po, mga kababayan? Yan o. Duterte's arrest pure, simple kidnapping. Sabi po ni Mijaldea, sa harap ng ICC. Kaya ino-observe natin yung reaction ng mga judges po ng ICC. Hindi lang sila kumikibo, pero tingin ko offended yung mga judges po. And that's the reason why, mga kababayan, yung mga request ni Mijaldea, lahat po turn down. Kahit sino man sigurong korte, nagpalabas sila ng warrant of arrest, kinorstro sa Interpol, nag-coordinate sa Philippine government. Kasi may obligation tayo sa Philippine government, sa Interpol. Member tayo ng Interpol. Yun ang nakaligtaan ni Digong. Humiwalay tayo sa ICC, pero hindi tayo humiwalay sa Interpol. Naisip po ng ICC na humingi ng tulong sa Interpol. Saan pa man pupunta kundi sa Interpol? O ito na nga po, hinuli, inaristo, mga kababayan, si Digong. Pagkatapos biglang inakusa ni Mijaldea, yung defense counsel niya, yung ICC ng kidnapping, na ang tingin natin, mga kababayan, ang gusto niyang iakusa, yung Pilipinas, Philippine government. But in effect, sa reading ng ICC judges, ang inaakusa ng kidnapping po, sila mismo. Sablay. Hindi pinag-aralan, mga kababayan. Yan kasi po, ang bunga ng masyadong arrogante kasi po. Isabi ko sa inyo, many times, walang pupuntang mabuti ang arrogance, ang kayabangan, and arrogance. Walang pupuntang mabuti po. Kahit gaanong galing ng argumento mo, pag-arrogante ka sa iyong mga pananalita, malamang sa malamang, may paglalagyan ka talaga. So asa pa kayo, mga DDS, na magiging favorable in the future ang magiging desisyon ng ICC kay Digong. Lalo pa, mga kababayan, pag ni-research, present yung mga ebidensya, pati yung mga utterances ni Digong po, na ang sabi niya, sipain ko nga ianya yan na mga taga-ICC. Nang tiningnan natin yung replay ng proceedings po, naging maamong tupa po si Digong. Hindi ko maintindihan kung nanghihina siya o nagdrama. Di ba? Ngayon ito sabi ni Mijaldea, nireject po yung mga plea. Yan sabi diyan, given the precipitous arrival of my client in an elderly man with debilitating medical issues, hard of hearing and poor sight, he was taken to a hospital for observation. Only this morning have I met him for the first time. With less than an hour to discuss legal issues, I have not been able to present him with a hard copy of the arrest warrant because we were not supplied with such, sabi po ni Mijaldea, defense counsel ni Digong. Sabi po ng presiding judge, si Judge Julia Moto, Now, with regard anya to the health issues of Mr. Duterte, I believe that the court has taken specific measures with regard to his health situation. And I note that subsequent to his arrest and when he arrived at the detention center, the court's doctor was of the opinion that you were fully mentally aware and fit, that you have undergone further checks and tests at the detention facility. Hindi lumusot po yung alibay at drama ni Digong sa harap ng kamera. Kasi online siya, hindi man siya inarap doon kasi matanda na. Hindi na nga pinatayo. So naintindihan nyo ng mga judges ng ICC. Pero mentally fit and healthy niya. You see? O ito yung manifestation mga kababayan ni Mijaldea. Pakinggan po ninyo.
Before it ends, may we be allowed to present a manifestation on the circumstances behind the delivery of Mr. Duterte in this chamber.
Oui, Maître, je dois d'abord demander...
Yes, counsel. This is as part of the procedure. And as we've said since the very outset, I need to ask Mr. Duterte himself to make observations as to the condition of his surrender to the court and the conditions of his detention at the detention facility of the court since his arrival. If he can please tell us these details.
Can I do it for my client? Thank you. Can I...
Oui, Maître. Oui.
The presiding judge. Yes, counsel.
Yes, Your Honor. Please. 2 days ago, the whole world has witnessed the degrading fashion in which a former president of a sovereign country was bundled into a private aircraft and summarily transported to The Hague. To us lawyers, this would be called an extrajudicial rendition. To the less legally inclined, it was a pure and simple kidnapping. My client was denied all access to the legal recourse in the country of his citizenship, and this all in the nature of political score settling. Two troubled entities struck an unlikely alliance, an incumbent president who wished to neutralize and choke the legacy of my client and his daughter on the other hand, and a troubled legal institution subject to delegitimization and desperate for a price cuts and a legal show today on the other hand. With this in mind, it is not surprising that my client was abducted from his country. ICC private jets do not drop out of the thin air. That jet which received my client was coordinated in advance. The UAE is not a state party to the ICC and has no obligation to cooperate with the court. Yet my client sat in transit in that country for more than 5 hours. I invite the registry's representative to present today in court to explain to the judges exactly how they believe this transfer was anything other than a gross abuse of process. Given the precipitous arrival of my client, an elderly man with debilitating medical issues, hard of hearing and poor of sight, he was taken to a hospital for observation. Only this morning have I met him for the first time with less than an hour to discuss legal issues. I have not been able to present him with a hard copy of the arrest warrant because we were not supplied with such. I have not even been able to explain to him what the prosecution requested when seeking the issuance of the arrest warrant. This is because the chamber only established a redacted version of the prosecution request last night. Other than to identify himself, my client is not able to contribute anything to this hearing. Most importantly, he is not able even to tell you that he has been informed of the charges as contained in the arrest warrant for a reason more pertinent to which I alluded in my written request to this honorable pretrial chamber this morning, and which is confidential in nature. Accordingly, I repeat my respectful request, which was rejected this morning, to postpone the substantive aspect of this hearing to the next week, when I will have the opportunity to sit with my client and to explain to him what a confirmation hearing is and what the disclosure is, and how the prosecution alleges that he committed crimes. I thank the court for its attention and regret to say that I do not have instructions to continue my submission any further today. Thank you.
D'abord, concernant...
Thank you, Counsel. Now, with regard to the health issues of Mr. Duterte, I believe that the court has taken specific measures with regard to his health situation, and I note that subsequent to his arrest and when he arrived at the detention center, the court's doctor was of the opinion that you were fully mentally aware and fit, and that you have undergone further checks and tests at the detention facility. And when you broached health matters, that's saying that you were not able to come to the hearing, the doctors who consulted with you were of the opinion that Mr. Duterte was not in a position to come to the hearing physically, but that if he gave a written permission, he would be able to take part via video link. Now, that is with regard to the health matters that you just mentioned. They are very important, especially concerning the matter of age. Now, with regard to the rights of Mr. Duterte, we have before us the registrar's or the registry's report that says that Mr. Duterte has been informed of his rights, including Articles 66 and 67 of the Rome Statute, and that that he is aware of his rights and that he is also aware of the charges against him. We have before us the report of the registry saying that he was also aware of the warrant of arrest in the English language and that he is very well versed in the English language. Once again, you have the possibility of these charges being read in English, which was the case today. I have read to you in the French language the rights that he has, Mr. Duterte, before this court, and I'd like to specify once again that this is an initial hearing in order for Mr. Duterte to be aware of his rights and the charges against him. And then there will be a full procedure that will unfurl leading up to the confirmation of charges that will enable Mr. Duterte to raise all the matters that you have just raised with regard to the warrant of arrest, with regard to the crimes committed, with regards to the charges, and any other matters associated with his arrest, and the matters of jurisdiction of the court. You have the opportunity to do this throughout these proceedings leading up to the actual confirmation of charges hearing. Now, counsel, with regard to your request for another hearing to be held next week, well, your initial request, that was, this was not accepted by the court. Now, you have seen the two decisions of the court that have been disclosed to you, and you are aware of the fact that these two decisions were refused. And this is by dint of the fact that this first initial appearance hearing does not need much preparation, as I have said to you on a number of occasions. I am now going to move on to the third stage, which is to set the date for the confirmation of charges hearing. After assessing all factors, including the need for the parties and participants to adequately prepare, as well as Mr. Duterte's rights, including his right to be tried within a reasonable time, the date for the commencement of the confirmation of charges hearing is September the 23rd, 2025. I would add that in accordance with Rule 1217 of the Rules of Procedure and Evidence, this date may be postponed by the Chamber depending on the progress of the proceedings, either on its own motion or at the request of the prosecutor or the defence. Before concluding this hearing, I would like to inform the parties of the next procedural steps. First, I would like to recall that in accordance with Rule 1212B of the Rules of Procedure and Evidence, the Chamber holds status conferences to ensure a small exchange of information under satisfactory conditions. These conferences are organised either ex officio or at the request of the prosecutor or the defence. Secondly, a set of decisions will be taken in a timely manner to ensure that the proceedings progress smoothly and expeditiously. More specifically, I am referring in particular to a decision on the arrangements and procedure for the disclosure of evidence, and a decision setting a timetable for the disclosure of evidence in such a way as to ensure orderly and efficient disclosure between the parties. In this regard, the Chamber orders the prosecutor to begin disclosing today the information on the basis of which the warrant of arrest was issued, and to complete this disclosure no later than within the next 7 days. The Chamber will also issue a decision on the participation of the victims who, according to the statute of the court and to the extent permitted by the Chamber, are authorised to present their views and concerns at this stage of the proceedings. We have come to the end of Mr. Duterte's first appearance hearing. I would like to thank all the participants in this hearing, the interpreters and the stenographers. This concludes today's hearing.
Adjourn agad, 27 minutes mga kababayan yung duration. In effect, inignore mga kababayan ni presiding judge Julia Motok yung aligasyon ni Attorney Medjadea na kinidnap, state kidnapping ang ginawa laban sa kanyang kliyente na si Digong. Sabi ni presiding judge Motok, may inisyuan niyang warrant of arrest. Malinawan niya at nakasulat niya sa English na naintindihan niya na may warrant of arrest. Madaling sabi, hindi pinansin ang sinabi ni Medjaldea na kinidnap. This is pure and simple kidnapping, which is a direct attack mga kababayan to the integrity ng ICC. Ang ibig sabihin, nakipagsabuatan yung ICC sa Interpol at saka sa gobyerno ng Pilipinas para kidnapin si Digong, which is a very serious utterances, accusation against the ICC. Tingin ninyo, di ba malinaw na lalong diniin ni Medjaldea yung kanyang kliyenteng si Digong? Yan kasi hindi po pinag-iisipan ang mga pananalita. Isabi nga natin mga kababayan, words uttered with kindness convince better than good argument uttered with arrogant petulance. Pag arrogante ka, nasa harap ka na ng korte. Pagkatapos yung mismong korte, inaakusa mo, kidnapping. Na malinaw, yung inaakusa mo na korte, sila yung nagpalabas ng warrant of arrest. Paano maging kidnapping? Nag-iisip ba kayo? So malabo po, doon pa lang bagsak na. Kaya po, i-recheck. Pati yung treason. Sabi ni Moto, sinikan yan yung mga doktor namin, maayos. Ibig sabihin, hindi po, hindi umobra yung drama ni Digong. Una yung nagpa-picture siyang naka-oxygen, pero yung tube, di man nakakabit pala, sabi ni John B. Crimolia, DILG Secretary, di man nakakabit sa tangke. Tapos, nang isakay sa eroplano, naka-D4 siya. Tapos, nang umarap si Digong mga kababayan, dito sa hearing, pre-trial hearing mga kababayan, maamo siya at parang may sakit. Ayan po, yung tinatanong siya ng kanyang identity.
Said, I would like firstly to confirm your identity. Could you provide us with your full names, please?
Young Rodrigo Roa Duterte.
Naging maamo po?
First middle name is Roa. His surname is Duterte.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much. What is your date of birth?
Again,
Can we request that the question be repeated? I don't think he heard it. Thank you.
Repetition from the English booth. What is your date of birth? Yes, thank you very much, Counsel. I was asking quite simply of Mr. Duterte what his full names were, and then I subsequently asked him what his date of birth was and what his place of birth is. Is that all right, Counsel?
yes. Of course, I do. My birth month day is March 28, 1945. I was born in the province of Leyte in the Philippines.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much.
Kita ninyo, very weak yung kanyang pananalita. Wala yung usual na PUTE. At saka yung sabi niya, banta niyang sipain ko niya kayo. Yan mga taga-ICC, sipain ko sila. Nanging maamong tupa mga kababayan at parang may sakit. Kaya lang sabi ng doktor, as stated by presiding judge Moto, ayos man na niya yung kalusugan. Sinik ng doktor namin. So possibly mga kababayan, gusto niyang i-project na weak in old. Alam ng mga judges na old siya. Kaya nga po, hindi na siya hinarap mga kababayan, personal. Online po yon, galing doon sa kanyang detention cell, in-online na lang at hindi na pinatayo in consideration sa kanyang pagiging old age. O, di ba? Pero yung pagiging weak niya at sabi may sakit, hindi pa niniwalaan po ng mga judge. Ayan.
Preliminary point. Very well. Thank you, Mr. Duterte. As a preliminary point, it is useful to clarify the nature and limited scope of this first appearance hearing. Today's hearing is neither the start of the trial, nor is it a confirmation of charges hearing. During today's hearing, no evidence will be collected or presented, and the issues of Mr. Duterte's guilt or innocence will therefore not be addressed. In accordance with Article 61 of the Rome Statute, the Court's founding treaty, and Rule 1211 of the Rules of Procedure and Evidence, the main purpose of this initial appearance is to answer 3 questions. Firstly, the Chamber must ensure that the person who was the subject of the arrest warrant has been informed of the crimes of which he is accused. Second, the Chamber must ensure that this person has been informed of his rights as recognized by the Rome Statute. Third, the Chamber must set a date on which it intends to hold a confirmation of charges hearing. The Chamber notes that your counsel, Mr. Duterte, filed two motions, one in relation with today's hearing, and you may be aware that these two motions have not been accepted by the Chamber because of the nature of today's hearing. No further discussion on the matter is necessary during this hearing because, as I said at an earlier stage, the aim of this hearing today is to introduce the parties and to ascertain the charges and to set a date for the confirmation of charges hearing at a later stage. With regard to the first point, I recall that Mr. Duterte has received a copy of the warrant for his arrest and that a redacted version of the prosecutor's application for the issuance of the warrant of arrest is public. I will now ask the court officer to read the charges against him. The charges will be read in English. Please, over to you, Madam Courtroom Officer. Thank you, Madam President. Your Honours.
On 7 March 2025, Pre-Trial Chamber 1 concluded that there were reasonable grounds to believe that Mr. Duterte is criminally responsible pursuant to Article 25(3)(a) of the Rome Statute as an alleged indirect co-perpetrator for the crime against humanity of murder pursuant to Article 7(1)(a) of the statute as follows. A. Murder of at least 19 persons, allegedly drug pushers or thieves, killed by members of the Davao Death Squad in various locations in or around Davao City, Philippines between 2011 and 2016. B. Murder of at least 24 persons, allegedly criminals, such as drug pushers or thieves or drug users, killed by or under the supervision of members of the Philippines law enforcement, sometimes with the assistance of persons who were not part of the police, at various locations in the Philippines between 2016 and 2019.
Mr. Duterte, I'm not going to ask you to stand up because I know your condition, so I'm going to allow you to remain seated. You have just heard the reading of the charges, which are in accordance with the content of the arrest warrant you received. This means that you have been informed of the crimes of which you are accused. And this concludes the examination of the first point mentioned above. I will now turn to the second point, which concerns your rights as a suspect before this court. I will summarize some of these rights, which are of particular importance at this stage of the proceedings. Those rights are as follows. You can benefit from the assistance free of charge of a competent interpreter and benefit from the necessary translations to meet the requirements of fairness. You have the right to have the time and facilities necessary to prepare your defense and to communicate freely and confidentially with the counsel of your choice. You have the right to remain silent, and you cannot be forced to testify against yourself or to confess guilt. You can also make statements in your defense without taking an oath. In addition to any other disclosure provided for in the statute, the prosecutor must disclose to you, as soon as practicable, evidence in his possession possession or at his disposal that shows or tends to show your innocence or to mitigate your guilt, or that could undermine the credibility of the evidence against you. At the confirmation of charges hearing, you can contest the charges, challenge the evidence presented by the prosecutor, and present evidence. There will be no trial if the charges are not confirmed or if the proceedings against you are completed. You have the possibility to make an application for interim release pending trial. And finally, Mr. Duterte, you have the right to be informed as soon as possible and in detail of the nature, cause and content of the charges in the language that you fully understand and speak. Counsel, have you understood?
Listening, ma'am.
So, tuwang-tuwa yung mga DDS kasi may right for interim release. Isabi ng mga legal experts po, malabuan niya yun ang pagbigyan ng ICC. Lalo't maraming mga pagbabanta. Nagpalabas naman po ng statement si Digong na possibly baka mabasa o hindi mabasa directly ng mga judges, mga kababayan. Siyempre, yung mga victims po, the family and the lawyers, baka i-furnish yung mga judges ng mga pagbabanta ni Digong. Yan o. Rodrigo Duterte, there will be a day of reckoning for all. Yan sinasabi natin. Ito, patama ito sa Marcos administration o sa mga nag-file ng kaso sa kanya. Siguradong mababasa ito ng mga judges ng ICC. There will be a day of reckoning for all. Pero that is statement, mga kababayan. Yung day of reckoning, ito yung nangyayari sa kanya. Tama po. Kaya pag-isipan pong mabuti ang pagpapalabas ng mga salita. Kaya lang, sabi po ni Bonaparte, do not disturb your enemy when he is committing mistakes. Kaya alangan man bigyan ng advice ng mga taga-gobyerno ng Marcos administration, bigyan ng advice si Digong, pero sabi tutulungan sa pamamagitan po ng embassy for a fair trial. Kita ninyo ang pagiging compassionate pa rin ng ating Pangulong Bongbong Marcos. Kahit araw-araw tinatawag ng iwi, bangag, a diktador ng kanyang mga supporters ni Digong at mismong si Digong nang hindi pa siya nahuhuli, na-aristo, na ang term, mga kababayan, ni Mijadea, kinidnap, lalong napasama kasi lumalabas, inaakusa niya yung ICC ng kidnapping. Ito naman po, Philmax Firming and Lifting Cream, pinapahid po sa mga pulses in affected area. Mainam po sa paninigas ng mga kaso-kasuan. Ito naman po, Automax Radiant Serum. Sa mukha naman yung application, anti-aging po siya. You will look 10 years younger than your age. Sa mga cancer patients naman po, baka lang gusto ninyo itong itry. Nengsa Red Mix Fruit Drink. Hindi mo po siya gamot, food supplement siya. Kaya lang, gawa siya, mga kababayan, sa goji berry. Yung goji berry may anti-cancer properties. O ngayon, yung mga inquiries ninyo, dumiritso na lang kayo sa aming messenger sa Facebook para masagot namin agad. Ayos pa? Ayos na ayos niya, Mr. Maravilla. At sa mga naghanap po ng malinis and spacious fitness gym, pumunta lang po kayo sa aming Colossal Fitness Gym. May Grab Car Rental din po kami. Ito naman po yung bago naming product na binibenta online. Eye Glow Serum, whitening po siya. Tingnan ninyo yung epekto sa aking anak na architect before and now. Yung mga inquiries po ninyo, dumiretso na lang kayo sa kanyang Facebook account, Riz Maravillas.